Don't go.
Welcome to the Vinny Rock Podcast.
I took the blows and did it my way.
It's time. The Vinny Rock Podcast.
What's going on? It's the Vinny Rock Podcast. Today, I got a buddy of mine who I actually grew up with, and we lost contact. And then my, venturing into acting kind of brought us right back together. Yeah. So before we get to that, which is a pretty cool episode, before we get to that, let's get to the sponsors. We have Core Medical Group. Core Medical Group is testosterone replacement therapy. That's helping Big Papi get back to being Big Papi. No, to be honest, it's just helped me get back regulated, feeling good again, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I love it. And I've been doing it for a while. I can tell you during the COVID, I got off it for a little while just because I was just stressed out. But now I'm back on. And hopefully you'll start seeing some serious improvement for me, my physical health, because it's been, oh my God. Whatever the case, if you guys are interested in Core Medical Group, at least just getting your blood work done, it is Core Medical Group, and I can get that to you. Let me do this again. Stop. Let's see. Stop.
I took the blows and did it my
Yeah. All right, we're recording. What's up? This is the Vinny Rock Podcast. I got my boy JjSoria on. He is one of the actors on the hit show on Netflix called Gente-fied, but he's also someone that I grew up with. And so by chance, my path to Hollywood, I had no idea JJ was doing what he did, and I was even watching him on TV and had no idea it was him. I remember JJ real quick. I remember watching like, oh, that dude looks familiar as fuck. And then, I get to LA and boom, here we are in the biz. And I just want to kind of get in here and talk with you. Why not, man? And how you been, dude? How's everything?
First and foremost, I've been wanting this. I'm glad you invited me on here because I've always wanted to tell you. I think I told you when we boxed over at Tangoose, and I was telling you how proud I am of you, and I've admired you since we were little, man. I remember when you were playing for the Padres, the Mission Circular League, and you've always been athletic, and you're always in the all-star team. And those, you don't know how much things impact people when you're, at any stage, at any time in your life. But, I still admire you for many reasons. And I'm just so freaking proud of you, bro, for many reasons.
Thank you, bro.
For what I know of your journey from a kid. And then, I always, in some way, shape, or form, was seeing glimpses of your life in the sense of seeing your dad, in fight in corners. And, there's Vargas's dad, like just those thoughts. Wonder what he's doing, stuff like that. All I'm trying to say is I'm freaking so fucking proud of you, and admire you to this day for many more reasons actually now. So
I appreciate it
first and foremost.
Yeah, no, man, I appreciate that. It's nice to get reconnected. And it was actually, I was on my way to film in Palmdale when we first called, and I was like, I tripped out. I called my wife after, like, babe, you wouldn't even fucking believe this shit. Like, how weird the world is. You grow up in LA. I never thought of fucking acting, and usually in our circle of friends, none of us did. It wasn't for us, right? It wasn't for other people. Maybe some of the white kids I grew up with were involved in it in some aspect, but it wasn't for us. And so I never in a million fucking years thought any of my dudes growing up would even be in the show, right? Would be in the big leagues of Hollywood. And so it was crazy when we had that conversation. I told my wife, it's like, I used to watch this motherfucker on a show, and I knew there was something about this dude that I couldn't fucking get. I was like, this motherfucker, I know who he is somehow. And it just kind of like, all right, my life got busy. At the time, I'm in the military. I'm doing, I'm going deployed. I'm coming home. I'm blah, 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 everything. And then, 2000, I think it's 17-ish is really when I kind of jumped into the Mayans by luck, by chance, by preparation meets opportunity, and whatever it is. And then we connected through social media.
Preparation meeting opportunity. It definitely It definitely, you say, you know, it's by chance, but it's really, I don't want to sound cliche or anything, but it's destined. It's all part of your journey. You know, we all have our own journey. If you look back and reflect, it does make sense why you're at where you're at, and everything that's led up to where you're at now has gotten you here because of that. You know what I mean? You can connect the dots. Like remember back in the day when we used to have the coloring books, you connect the dots and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you go back and it's like, oh, it makes sense why I'm here. All right. But back in the day, we would have never thought that we, one, would be in this industry, and then two, cut and encounter each other's lives once again through it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we both went different paths in life and come right back and look at us. We're in the same freaking path again.
And I'm so grateful for that, man. I'm so grateful for that.
Dude, tell me, man. So first, how's your mom? She good?
She's good. She had cancer, and she's in remission from that. I think she's been taking these pills. She has one more year to take it, but she's getting so much better. And my mom is just one of the sweetest people the sweetest person I've ever known.
Yeah, just let her know I'm thinking about her, and then I said hi as well, all right?
Will do. And your clan, how's everyone?
Bro, the family, you know, it's funny. You know what room I'm in right now? This is the room that I grew up in when I was a kid. Yes, I'm in the same house. So, yeah.
Is that the house that right there? Right where I know?
This is it.
Shut up.
Bro, so the funny thing about this is my sister bought the house from my parents, and then there's so many rooms. We were a big family in LA, right? Like there's 4 kids and my parents. So there's rooms in here that are just not being used. And I said, hey, do you mind if I rent a space? You know, she goes, no, go ahead. So I do this when I'm in town, and my dad does it when he's in town, because my dad still works on a couple TV shows and stuff. So I'm in the room that I was in high school. This is it. It's now like kind of like the spare bedroom. And that's where I'm at right now.
That adds even more to the story, dog. Like you're back, like, yeah, that's so cool.
It's crazy, man, that Hollywood brought me closer to my family, and being in the military, I got used to being away. It was like I got comfortable with not having to visit. It was just like, oh, my life is just busy. It's all good. And then when I started trying to do the LA thing, the acting thing, I had to come home. I had to come to LA to do it. And also I'm having dinner with my mom and dad and my sister, and I'm reconnected with the family. And so, you know, if anything else, it was a blessing in disguise just to have a closer relationship with my family. But that being said, everyone is good and healthy, and it's all gravy right now.
Right on. And the fact that you have a huge family of your own, you know, your kids and everything, it only makes sense. It only makes sense. You know, because you come from a big family and you created your own big family.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna have that, right? I knew I wanted that, and so it's been cool, and it's been you know, the grind to keep them happy is always part of like the passion as well, you know.
Yeah, you got them all in combat sports too. Your daughter's wrestling.
Yeah.
Boys wrestling too, no?
Yeah, it's funny. The boys are in and out. They want to do it. They don't. It's just the girls kind of took to it more, but the boys, we always do something. There's a jujitsu training at the house at some point. There's always a boxing lesson going on. But we're active in sports no matter what. There's some kind of sports, and because you and I know how sports kind of shaped our youth, there's something to be learned by the losses, right? I always say I like to gift my kids with losses. Bro.
Well, you probably lost a lot at Monroe.
Bro, I wanted to go to Kennedy, dog.
I did, and I didn't make the fucking team. That was the whole reason why I went to Kennedy, because I wanted to play in the baseball team.
Yeah, the best team. They were the best team in the Valley for us, besides Chatsworth, but yeah.
Yeah, and Chatsworth too, and El Camino Real, right?
Yeah.
Another one. But yeah, my home school was Monroe. And did you go to Patrick Henry?
No, I went to Holmes Junior High, and then I went to Porter for when I had to do summer school.
Sure. Okay, so I just missed you at summer school because I went to Porter. It's right down the street from my parents' house. But so yeah, when I had to choose between going to Monroe or Kennedy, I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to Monroe. I'm gonna go to Kennedy. I want to be in that all-star team, right?
Yep.
And it just didn't work out either. Whether like I thought I was good enough, and everyone on the like, there were a lot of members of the team thought I would be, but either Coach Alvarado wanted me to play winter ball, and I got introduced to football and the excitement of that, and I like, dog, that's okay. So I missed the first winter ball. I tried out. Not to give any excuses, but the day of the tryout was my homeboy Octavio's funeral. Remember saying, all right, see you next week, and next week never came. and
Yeah.
he died in a car accident. And the day of the funeral, I went to the funeral. I missed school, went to the tryout right after the funeral, and maybe this wasn't good enough. But then, anyways, I play football, and I go to this thing, and I was the excitement of the fans and da 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 da, and all these girls going. Ah! I said, "What the hell is this? I want to be a part of this."
Yeah.
All that to say, I didn't do winter ball the following season. He didn't let me play, but I have to admit, listen, if I was good enough, there would have been no excuses. I would have made the team. But that was a big transition in my life.
Yeah, coaches, they want you to be 24/7, right? And I had a problem with that. I had walked away from football because my coach kind of gave me this ultimatum. He's like, look, is my 11th grade year. He goes, you can play football, you can get injured and ruin your opportunity of going somewhere with baseball. You're good enough to do something, stick with it. And I remember I actually told my football coach, like, look, you know what? I'm going to focus on baseball. And he made me feel so guilty for it, but there's nothing that ever filled the gap of running out on the field and the crowd going crazy. And, like there's nothing will ever fill that. That was the most exciting thing in my sports career besides hitting a home run in a big game, right? That like football there was so much exhilaration. There's nothing like that in baseball. Baseball is this beautiful kind of passive sport that has so much history and so much love in it. And then you go to football where it's like, oh crap, you're a big deal. And that feels good.
Oh,
yeah.
It felt great, man. I mean, because what I loved, and I'm sure you relate to this, what I loved about baseball was you're always thinking about where you have to position yourself, depending on who's pitching, depending on who's at bat, what inning it is, and all this shit. And I loved all that mind game, even though I was just in fucking right field. I was always there, and I loved that chess, so to speak. And then going to football and just the energy. It was just the energy. It was the energy of everything.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, dude. So, it's funny. I've watched a few of your other interviews just because I just curious to see, there's so much growth in your life from before. And there was a big change at some point for you to attempt theater, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a moment in my life where I did the same. I was at Glendale Community College. I was struggling to get my grades. I had, I've always had dyslexia, so I've struggled with reading my whole life. I never was admitting it to anyone, so I even struggled even more. I had people help me with homework, so I never grew into the space of understanding how to read really well until I got into the military. And so my coach was like, dude, theater, you could get an easy A, just figure it out, right? And that was like the first taste of theater. I've always saw it in my head. I've always watched kids and like, fuck, I wish I had the balls to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I never even did it until I had to for good grades. And you have a very similar story of trying to find what you're going to do and falling into a theater course.
Yeah. So my story is basically, again, I've always identified myself as an athlete. My dream was to play for the Dodgers, right? That was the thing. Long story short, I go to community college. Athletics, a career in athletics was very dim, to say the least. And I was like, okay, well, this doesn't seem like it's going to be a reality. What are other things I'm interested in? And I was like, at the time, in trying to pick a career, I ended up going with physical therapy because my dad was in aerospace and he was always kind of in it as of a job. So I was like, okay, well, as long as I'm helping people and I can make good money and help people make good money and a consistent career. I chose physical therapy and I realized that shit didn't make me happy. And I go, oh, fuck. And trying to figure out what I want to do, I never thought about being happy. I go have a meeting with my college counselor and she's like, you have to get some extra units, you have to choose between painting, drawing, and theater. And I go, well, I've never been one for the arts. I actually even recall back in, like, I think we're in 5th grade, you and I, no, not 5th, maybe 6th. I don't know. We had a similar class and we did arts and crafts. And that's
who's your 5th grade teacher?
Weiner.
Yeah, we have Miss Weiner, bro.
Yeah?
We have Miss Weiner, okay. Bro.
So I remember doing some kind of arts and crafts thing. And I'm like, I'm just horrible at this. I was getting like C's and D's. So that's where my mind went when they brought up painting, drawing, and theater. And I'm like, drawing, I can't do this. I can't do this to save my life. Painting sounds boring. It's so funny. I have this thing on the back of my wall now.
I was thinking it, bro. I was thinking it.
Painting's boring. By the way, the artist's name is Demk. He's from Glendale, Armenian cat, super talented.
Gorgeous.
So the theater, I go, fuck it, I'll do it. But my mentality towards anything has always been how I do anything is how I do everything. So I go all in.
Yeah.
Sat in front of the class because that's the way I could pay attention. And I listened to what acting was all about, creating characters and telling story. And I reflected for a moment, a quick second. I go, wait, I've always loved storytelling. My grandma used to always tell me stories when I was a kid to put me to sleep, but I would never fall asleep because I'd want to hear more stories. I'm like, all right, well, I love storytelling. And I go, quite honestly, I think I'm a good looking dude. This is how I thought. I'm a good looking dude. If I just put forth the same work ethic that I had towards athletics, towards this, I'll figure the rest out. That was just how I thought. I walked out of that class, never auditioning, never done, not even getting up and performing. I just go, I'm an actor and I'm going to pursue it. I'll figure out how to I'll ask the questions and, do the work.
Yeah. You're going to jump in and figure out how to swim.
Exactly, bro. Just jump in the deep end and figure it out.
Yeah, that's it. That's dope, dude. That's crazy.
That's literally the start of it. That was literally the start of it. What
was your first role where you were like, yep, I got this?
That's I don't know if there was ever a real moment. Oh, well, I'll actually say it was in acting class, Andrew Magarian in North Hollywood. I'd already been taking a scene study class with a lady by the name of Lauren Patrice Nadler. Awesome scene study class. Learned a lot about myself in there. But it was one fucking note that Andrew Magarian said to the class, not to me specifically. It wasn't no special moment. It was just an aha moment. He said, play for real. And I always remembered playing basketball, recreationally. And we know when someone's a lot better than you and they're kicking your ass and they're tired of playing, like this is the 5th game in a row and they're beating you up. So now they're just fucking around. And you're like, nah, man, play for real. Because if I beat you, I want to beat you because you're really trying. But he said, play, that resonated with me. Play for real. Commit. And I was like, oh, play for real. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's beautiful. I have, a handful, probably 20 different veterans who listen to the podcasts and who are aspiring actors. And that's a great note for them. Like y'all that are listening, play for real. I mean, that's so honest. And it's funny, there's so much different direction in acting and theater, and everyone will find what their process is, right? Your process is going to be different than my process, but at the end of the day, we just want to be believable, right? We're trying to create this very believable character in ourselves, as well as we say the lines and we say our dialogue. We want to believe it. It has to be so organic and honest so that the viewers like, oh shit, this guy is Eric of Gente-fied. There is no JJ, right? You know what I mean? Like,
What I'll add to what you're saying there is, like you said, when I pointed at you, you said, you want to believe it. And I don't concern myself with, that's all I concern myself with. Yeah. Is doing what I need to do so I believe it. So right now, like even at the beginning of my career, and no one teaches you how to handle any of this, whether it be fame, attention, you have to learn all that along the process. And so there was a time when I got into this, and as much as I love storytelling, the ego part of me wanted to be, my name needs to be upside Pacino, De Niro, to fulfill my commitment. I need to be seen a certain way. After the more and more I worked, I realized along the journey, I go, oh, no, this is about convincing me and figuring out what I want to do. So actually now I really enjoy, because I identify more as an athlete and being physical, that's the kind of stuff I wanted to do. Like there was a time where I wanted to prove myself. I no longer care to prove myself. The only person I'm trying to prove myself to is me. And I've done that. I always say this, you could see me in Gente-fied and be like, hey, you're okay. And I'll respect that. That's totally fine. Or you could think I suck and I can respect that too. What I do is as long as I believe in what I'm doing, that's what's most important to me. Yeah. And that's why I'm so believable, because actually every character I play is me as that. If there's I play for real. I say I play for real, so it's never an act. Yeah. When I'm mad, I'm mad. When I'm crying, I'm crying. I have to, because I'm not a good actor. There's some people that are really good at thinking.
Yeah, I'm a better exister. This is me now. Yeah, boom, exactly. Here you
go. The acting, maybe learning how to maybe speak with an accent or something like that. That's the acting part of it. Yeah. But when it comes to the emotional aspect of it, that's 100% real. And, And what I was trying to get to was to say that I've actually realized that the stuff I gravitate towards, initially I was trying to prove myself. So I wanted to do everything. I wanted to do comedy. I wanted to play a gay character. I wanted to do all this shit.
Yeah.
to prove. And over my career, I realized, oh, that's not really what I want. What I want, I love stuff like The Purge. I love stuff like Fast and Furious. I love stuff like, action, boom, boom, boom. So now I'm getting, that's what, when you hit me up about, when you saw me shooting and you're like, yo, I'm down to help you. And I'm like, dog, hell yeah, because that's the stuff, I got to ingrain it in me. I need to feel it, like, I need to own it. Own it. And that's, along the journey, that's what I've learned into.
Well, it's like you're cultivating who you are as an actor, and it changes from the beginning till now. I mean, you've grown. Like, we all grow, we change. You know what I mean?
And over life, right? It's
right.
We evolve.
Bro, I started in comedy because I've always been a class clown. I've always been the fool, right? The military, I used to do skits already in the military, and people be like, oh, do with this one. And I'm like, whatever. And then I got into YouTube with my friends, and that was successful. And then all of a sudden I find myself getting picked up more for drama, and I'm kind of tripped out. Like, well, no, I like drama. I think drama for me is actually therapy. I love doing the drama shit, but like, I'm getting nervous. Like, don't put me in only a drama role, because I could do comedy because I feel good about comedy. So in my, I guess, evolution of acting is feared. One, I mean, you have all these tattoos. I get typecasted, and that's hard for me, because like, I'm like, fuck that, dog. I'm a real motherfucker. I could do anything, right? And so I struggle with that, as in like, see me for who I am in here, not for this. And I promise you, I can play a lot more than what you think. And that's a hard thing to convince Hollywood, because Hollywood doesn't see, someone with tattoos as a federal agent. But I was a federal agent, right? Hollywood doesn't see this guy with tatted up neck as a military. I'm still in the military, right? And so it's this thing is trying to convince the culture of Hollywood to believe that we can be so many different things with whatever look. And so that's been I guess I got to get out of my head with that. For me, it's like, let the work show. Fuck it, dog. You know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't try to convince anybody.
Yeah.
Don't try to convince anybody of your talent or anything. That's why another quote I have, I'm the shit, but I ain't shit. Like, there's balance. You know what I'm saying? Or say it the other way. Listen, I ain't shit, but best believe I'm the shit. You know what I mean? Like, my confidence in myself, I don't need any trophy to tell me how good I am. I don't need, like, I already believe it. I'm always working to get better, and I take learning lessons from everybody. It don't matter if you're a guest star, co-star, whatever. I tell everybody that comes on set with me, I say, hey, if you have a note for me, throw it my way. And the reason I do that is because I want them to give. I want them to open up. A lot of times when, because, we've been there when we're playing guest star roles and this, that, and the other, and you feel, you're a guest and you're like, what can I do? Or what can I, how much can I give? And what I've learned is, obviously and I think another reason why we love this field is it's a collaboration. It's a team sport.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that you have, it's a very egotistical and people could be about themselves.
Yes.
But the best way it works is when you're working as a unit together. Yeah. And I love that collaborative process. Yeah. It's what I loved about playing sports as well.
Yeah, well, that's the funny you mentioned that. This is what I've been doing this year. What we've talked about, me and Richard and Clay and JD, we've kind of all come together and said, in my head, the way I take this is a fucking war, dog. We're fighting. We're fighting, and we're going to show up to the set, and I'm going to fucking give you all my blows, and you're going to give me all yours, and whoever fucking wins. But that is what's going to put the best scene on the table for the viewer. That's teamwork. Me giving you everything. Fuck it. You don't like that shit? Fuck it, dog. I'm giving you it all, and he better give it to me, and he better make me feel like, and we're going back and forth on this shit, right? And I hope to God I win every single fucking scene I'm in, but I don't care if I do or don't. In the end of the day, we created the magic behind what the fuck you see in the minds.
And that's why it works.
Yeah, I get it. Bro, let me trip you out on something. Miss Weiner, do you remember all the crazy stories about her?
Yeah, she was a bitch. Dog. And the other. And
bro, she used to say that she taught Michael Jackson how to dance. She was the weirdest whacked out lady.
Oh yeah, and that's why people thought like she was mean. I was super I was very on my being polite and proper. And she really appreciated it. But whenever I talked to her, she was smiling and she was so much full of, people thought she was mean.
Bro, but she was the dopest lady with all these crazy stories, dude.
Exactly. And she was dope. She was dope. I mean, she impacted me for sure.
She cared, bro. And it was this funny thing. Like, she had me, I think she knew I couldn't read much. She always had me doing things like, can you fix this? Can you fix that? And I'm like, yeah. And it made me feel special that, hey, I'm not good at school, but I was good at other things. And she made me feel that, dog. And that was a super special lady. And I just thought, like,
Oh yeah,
trip out. We were both in that class at that time, and she was having that kind of impact on us. And it's just kind of
dog,
crazy. Fast forward now.
dog. And you think about it, she truly did make an impact. She truly was special, because the fact that we still remember her name out of all the teachers that we've had over the years.
Yeah, I know, right?
Man,
Crazy. Well, dog, there's a thing that I like to show veterans about theater. You know, we come from, and you know as well, being Latino here, growing up in LA, the machismo is a thing that follows us, right? It's the kind of the black shadow in our world that doesn't allow us to be honest with ourselves. We have to play a character essentially for the street. In life, in the street, as a man in Latino, and you got to be this tough guy.
Can't do this.
Yeah, no. You can't do that. You can't say, "Oh, that's fucked up. I feel bad for them." No, you can't do that shit, bro, because that shit's weak in the eyes of men that are Latino in California, or in the areas that we were raised. And not even that. And it's funny because fast forward from my life as a military guy in the special operations community, it's the same, bro. I couldn't get away from this shit, dog. And my heart was softening throughout the years of just living life and losing friends and having a baby. All these things started making me softer, and I appreciated it, right? It was nothing but gratitude to life kicking me in the fucking nuts and making me humble, that I was able to soften up. And I'm a 23-year-old kid who lost baseball, the dream, because I was academically ineligible, who had a baby from a woman that I had to learn to love, and we had our first marriage. It's like this crazy world of it. But that's what got me to this most honest side of, like, oh man, it ain't about being tough no more, dog. It's about just being real. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm talking about. And I feel like, did it take a long time for you to allow that to shed off of you? And is that probably a power in your acting, is the fact that your willingness to be vulnerable?
Absolutely, dog. I mean, that's every character that I approach, is the foundation is vulnerability. You know, that is why, again, not to toot my own horn, but that's why people believe what I do, because it's they can relate to vulnerability, and everything that's the foundation. You know, right. You open up that's what people connect to. So growing up, I remember in high school specifically, taking pictures all the time. I wouldn't smile in pictures because, you know, that's gotta be
tough, dog.
Yeah, you got always like that. And also because I didn't like my two front teeth, they kind of like me. I definitely, more than anything, acting class was therapy, because I had to go in and handle daddy issues that I had within myself, or, like, you know, you do a lot of, I've always done a lot of self-analyzation throughout my life, but okay, so being molested, being like having a head injury at a young age, like before going to male.
I remember all that. I remember it all. I remember you telling us about it. Like, oh shit.
Then and then in dog, something you probably don't know about this unless you got it from the interviews. I got picked on a little bit because I was a little chubby at male, and frankly, I was sensitive. So I was literally crying in the shower, praying to God that I lose weight. So all this shit that was very impactful to me at a young age, that over my life, during that time, I was like, I ain't nothing. I'm crying and all this shit, but then I'm telling myself, don't be a bitch, you know, like, man up. Or I go back because of acting class, and after analyzing and connecting the wires and finding out why I feel the way I feel about things. You got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of looking in the mirror.
Yeah, right? No, for sure. That's a chapter in my book, is looking in the mirror.
And so that's what I did. I've done. I still do. Right. Yeah. And that's what we refer to. I mean, we're referring it to acting, but it's really in life. I believe we all need to do that. We all need to look. Especially during this time where people are always, there's a lack of accountability.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
A huge lack of account. Everybody wants to point the finger at this, that, and the other. And I'm like, motherfucker, point the finger at yourself. Take accountability for yourself, man.
Yeah. There's this crazy thing that everybody wants to blame someone else for their problems, right? And when you do that, you're just, because you're not willing to accept that you fucked up. And to me, what's been my greatest power is accepting my fuck ups. Like, yep, that was me. I fucked that up. My bad. I got to fix that. And if you can't accept your own fuck ups, you're never going to grow from those fuck ups, or you never change the path that you're on. And so you'll continue to have this fucking downward spiral of shit because, hey, bro, you won't clean up your own mess, dog. How do you expect it to fucking be walking on these clean streets?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. And you say like acting is what we're using, but exactly, I think acting in itself, as much as it's my career and it's my business, it's what I do now. It was a therapy that helped me heal a lot of my own wounds, or gave me the permission to cry. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I
without judging yourself.
Exactly. Oh, no, I'm acting, bro. I'm it's all good. And it's this thing that I had to get over still as this dude in the military, which was, the world's telling you to be tough. The other side of you is telling you to be human. I had to, find the middle of that. And I finally, as I get out, was able to like accept, like, dude, I'm just human. I ain't nothing special. I'm just a dude that just trying to be happy. And when I try and relate that to veterans, is like, try acting as a theater modality for therapy.
Hell yeah, bro. So here's another tip that veterans could also use. But I'm gonna apply it to our career choice right now. What I realized, I go, wait a minute. What's most appealing, attractive is to be transparent on screen. And what's the best way to do that? I go, well, you got to practice it in life. Be transparent in life. That's why I could talk about being molested, being all this shit, like even in detail, if people like need to hear it. Like, because being vulnerable in life is the most vulnerable you can be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not as opposed to being in a character and kind of hiding behind saying it's the character. No. Right. I'm telling you exactly who I am. And that's like, so many people tell me their deepest, darkest secrets. So many times I've heard, I've never told anyone this before, because they see, I have no ulterior agenda. They see it. They see the truth. Yeah. And when you start making that your practice, a training, you train yourself to be vulnerable in life, it's that much more easier to do it on the screen.
Yeah. And
so in regards to the veterans, start practicing that in your life on a day. First of all, looking in the mirror and being honest with yourself. So then you could take that honesty and also express that same honesty with others in the world.
I love it. No, I think it's right. I think, being able to be honest with yourself at all times is the healthiest way of living life, or else you start building egos, you start building insecurities because you're trying to hide all the fucking vulnerability that needs to be out there to the world and say, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I love it, dude. Let's talk about Gente-fied, bro. I want to talk about it just because of the fact, like, I want to help support and promote it.
I appreciate it.
I think I watched it. I thought I was proud of you, dude. I was proud of the show having it. I'm proud of all the actors on that show, which made this thing such a beautiful piece. And you guys got picked up for season 2, correct?
Yeah, we start February, a couple weeks.
Yeah, if you don't mind telling the people who are listening exactly kind of a brief synopsis of the show and where they can watch it.
Okay, first of all, the show's called Gente-fied, which is a play on words of gentrified. It is on Netflix, and it is a series that takes place in Boyle Heights about this family that's this grandfather owns. It's been in the neighborhood for like 30 some years, and it's in jeopardy of being gentrified, being pushed out of the community because of gentrification. I play one of his 3 grandchildren that are helping him to keep the business afloat, and so we could keep everything going.
Yeah. And it's crazy because we actually lived through this. Like my father's from Echo Park, bro, and Echo Park when it wasn't gentrified, right? So when you tell someone like, my dad's from Echo Park now, they're probably like, oh, that's a nice place. Like, yeah. It wasn't before, and
there was bodies in that. There was bodies in that lake, bro.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it is this is something that happens now, and they forget that when they do that, they are hurting the Latino culture that has grown so accustomed to those streets. And what's the answer? I'm never going to tell you what the answer is, because that's a 7-layer cake of different things. But it is hard to watch sometimes. It is hard to watch and see some iconic stores or restaurants or places that we grew up going to and that are now changing, and I'm sure being a part of the show, it hits a little bit more closer to home because that story is so honest.
Dog, I mean, that it's very interesting because it's very interesting because I actually was born in Boyle Heights. I was born at White Memorial Hospital in Boyle Heights. I was raised the first 9-10 years of my life in El Sereno, right before I moved and picked up and moved out to the Valley. And those very, very impactful years of my life. In regards to how gentrification affected me, didn't so much affect me per se because I grew up a lot in the Valley. But I can tell you this, I remember Manuel's at Tapiac all through my life. And if that business were to be pushed out because of gentrification, that one would really feel like a loss.
Well, people don't even know about that, right? They don't know about that 10-pound, 20-pound burrito that they had.
Yeah, you got a Hollenbeck, you got a Manuel special. Yeah. And Manuel, I mean, I've known Manuel as a kid, and Manuel used to give my, who's rest in peace, he used to give my mom and family members like tequila back in the, like, come to the table and give them a drink and stuff. I mean, so many people have stories about Manuel, but that place is legendary, and that is a landmark.
Right. And there's a lot of it. So Gente-fied, you guys can check that out. Netflix season 2 is coming out here soon, I'm sure. I don't know if there's dates already projected, but they did get green lit for season 2. It is a fun, cool show. It makes you laugh, and it makes you a little emotional as well. It goes
definitely, man. It's definitely emotional. I think it hits all the emotions, and very relatable, even if you're not Hispanic. Just the family aspect, obviously Latino families may hit closer to home than most because of familiarity, like really feeling seen, right? Yeah. Before we're trying to see ourselves in these white people, and nothing against them. I'm saying I saw myself in fucking Rocky Balboa, right? Like, just, that's who I was like, oh, that's who I want to be, or this, that, and the other character. But like for Latinos, yeah, we really feel ourselves seen. I remember reading the script, and people have asked me, what's the first character you really felt seen? Like, quite honestly, the first character I felt seen was in Gente-fied. Like, I was like, oh shit, it's like looking through a window of a house that I grew up in, like. The banter between the cousins, talking shit to each other the way they do.
Yeah. And that's an interesting thing that you bring up, is that, Hollywood, it almost takes, and I almost goes back to like the whole tattoo thing, right? It wasn't long ago when Asians were only store clerks, right? When blacks were only gangbangers, when as we go through this and the shift, Asians are now doing crazy productions that are fucking super successful, and the Latino community is still there growing in the space and trying to get their foot up in that, and so Gente-fied, my show Mayans, the difference with Mayans is it's a little different because it doesn't show this honest representation of an actual Latino family, and like yours does, in which that's why I think I came to appreciate your show, as well as there was another show I saw was The Baker and the Beauty, was another one of those shows that I was like, fuck yeah, bro, that's funny, because the comedy and the jokes or comedy and jokes that my mom would say to me, my dad would say to me, and that's what made it like, man, I'm watching myself on this shit.
And and that's part of our upbringing too. Like, how we handle hardship is usually through comedy.
Yes.
Right. Yes. We talk shit and everything to get through those moments. Like some people may think, well, how are they laughing to this time? Well, that's how we deal.
Yeah,
that's how we deal with things.
There was a whole winter where we didn't have a front wall to our house, right? Because the money that my dad had to do a remodel on the house fell through. It didn't come. You know what I mean? So we're laughing because we have blankets covering that door. Hopefully, no one comes in at night. We're all scared. It's just this thing, but it is part of the family. When my brother and my sister, we get together, we fucking make fun of ourselves so hardcore about shit like that. And this is like, my wife's like, man, your family is funny. I'm like, man, this is how we were raised, man. We made fun of each other and joked about life all day long.
Yeah, and so I'm going to go off on a tangent for a second and say, in regards to, you talk about your tattoos and everything, what it comes down to, bro, is we need to make our own stories.
Yes.
And like, okay, so there was a time when people were complaining because they're not represented, this, that, and the other. And so, for a lack of a better way to put it, white Hollywood was trying to put out these stories that they're unrelatable to themselves, and they're trying to write it and this, that, and the other. So it's not authentic as our show is. To give an example, like Marvin Lemus and Linda Chavez, who's from Norwalk. Marvin's from Bakersfield, but lived in Boyle Heights before he wrote the story. And mad credit. Like there's so many fucking all-stars on our production as yours. I give everyone credit. That's what makes our show special, is there's so many stars. And when I say stars, I mean stars in life. You know, the energy that they're giving. There's just so many stars in that. But what I was trying to get to is say that they create the story. It's coming from people that know. Yeah. You know, I can't, as much as I love military projects and action stuff. Let's say with military, I love playing those characters, and I'm still yearning for the day that I get to play a gritty type of Black Hawk Down type story. The truth is, I can't write that story unless I do a lot of research, and even then, it's not the same thing as you writing it.
Right, and that's what you were saying, and I'm gonna give a caveat to that, is that Hollywood tries to, in respect to the attempt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thank you for attempting, but you still fall short, right? Because it wasn't one of us who did it, right? And I feel that same way about Latino stuff. I feel the same way about military stuff, even law enforcement stuff. It's like, if you're going to be doing that, like you got to come from the source, because that source is going to give you something that's so authentic that no one will fucking touch. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is like Hollywood has probably tried to tip the cap and say, here's a Latino story, but you're like, wait a minute, who actually wrote that? You know what I mean? And now you have shows like yours, you have shows like mine that are being written by the majority of the Latino culture that can tell you the honest, like, oh yeah, this is common in my family, because, and like everyone's like, oh yeah, me too. So the writer's like, fuck yeah, boom. You know what I mean? And that's where we get this really cool. I'm excited to see the future of the Latino stories to be told by Latinos who have jumped up in the game and now are doing it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited where we're going. But also, I want to touch on something else. Let's not talk down about playing roles, like even the characters in the Mayans. People are like, oh, this is the same type of stuff, like shooting up and this, that, and the other. There's a reason why that's popular too, or like the people want to hear those stories, and people are interested in that shit. I like playing bad, tied up characters, and I would love to play a character riding on the bike and doing all that shit. That's the worlds I like to play.
Well, we're entertainers, right? And what entertains the masses, that's our job. You know what I mean? And so I'm super proud of the Mayans. I'm super proud of wherever the hell they want to take me with my character, and it's fun. And I love to meet bikers. I'm meeting a lot of MC dudes that are talking to me like, oh, the show, it could use this. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'll take that note, bro. Cause like, it's not my world, dog. You know what I mean? But I love to be a part of it. And I love that I've been welcomed into it now because of it. And they know we're actors, dog. I'm just doing my best to portray the baddest dude my character can possibly be. And I fucking love that I get paid to do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's not too far-fetched for you. You're a badass motherfucker, man.
I appreciate it, dog. Hey, we'll wrap this up in about 10, but real quick, is there any aspirations for you to be a director, producer, anything in the future?
Producer, I'm in the process right now. Producing for sure. Just that overall, listen, we're all storytellers. Whether you're an actor, whether you're a cinematographer, whether you're a director, at the end of the day, we're all storytellers. So I'm just trying to become the best storyteller I can be. Like with sports, the best baseball player you could be is by knowing how to play every position. And that's what I'm trying to do in regards of being the best storyteller I could be. Okay, I've got the acting thing down. At least for this performance vehicle. And that when I'm on, you know what I'm saying? Now I want to learn how to be the best guy and the best mechanic, not just the race driver, you know what I'm saying? So I do believe I have something to offer the storytelling business in the realm of producing. I know I can produce. I know I can bring people together. That's actually what I think is my strongest suit, even as an actor. I tell people, I go, listen, like when I went to the audition for Gente-fied, I go, listen, I'm a star. And I don't mean that you could take that two ways. You could take that as, oh, he thinks he's a fucking star. No, I'm a star in life because of what I shine. I know my energy, and that's what I bring to set, as you and all the guys on set bring to yours, right? Yeah. Ready to go, let's go. I'm treating it like the fucking team. Let's go, guys. My crew.
Yeah, you're a team captain. You're a team captain.
Because that's who we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's who we are when we were on teams. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the fucking football team that I was a third string receiver on, I was still amongst my unit. I was still considered to be the one that they looked up to. And I was like, what? You're the guy out there fucking catching the ball. But people looked up to me because how I existed, my energy. And I make sure it's a priority to me to make sure I know everyone's name of my team, know about their life, know that I want them to make sure they feel valued, that it's not just about the people in front of the screen. It's totally a unit, because then you're from a family, right? Yes. And everyone's more invested.
Yep, love it. Leadership 101, man. Giving a fuck about everyone around you. Right?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Well, dog, I'm gonna wrap it up here, man. Please tell the people listening where they can find you, your social media, so they can jump on and continue to get blessed with your motivational talks that you throw on Instagram, and just be able to support you on your way.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll just say that's my self-given purpose in life, man. It's my nature to be that way. To be the acting thing isn't my identity. It's just something that I do. At one time, I used it as my identity for my ego, but now I'm just so blessed to have it as a platform, because I want people to be like, if that fool can do it, I can do it. And I say, whatever it is, whether it be acting, whether it be being whatever they want to be in their life, I want them to see themselves in me and be like, oh, fuck, I could do something. So I am a motivational speaker. I'm a preacher. You know, I just preach my way of living, this, that, and the other. The way you can find out stuff about what I'm about and follow up on me is jjsoria, at jjsoria on Instagram and Twitter. And I still use Facebook. I have a Facebook community, and that's jjsoria. I think it's 08.
If you send me that link to that one when I upload this, this one will get uploaded for about 3 weeks. I'm just backed up on dudes, but this one, send me the link for it. I'll put whatever links you want on there. Okay. And you'll be able to click, boom, find you. Sounds good.
Right on, bro.
Cool, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for entertaining me, for the time and jumping on my podcast. A long time coming. We've been trying to figure this out, so I'm glad it finally happened.
I'm getting ready to start my own. I've been talking about it for years, so this is actually inspiring to me. So.
Yeah, and if you need help, bro, tell me what you need, dog. I'll show you what I got. I'll even take a picture. This is my travel setup, right? My home setup is a little different, but my travel setup is still, it's rocking, bro. And so anything you need with it, you tell me. I got you, bro.
All right, I'll hit you up for sure.
All right, cool.
Okay, brother. I'm proud of you. I love you, and keep doing your shit.
Thank you, brother. Later, man.
Later.
I took the blows and